Members of the Student Services Department would like to welcome students, parents, and guardians to the Fort Collins High School presentation on applying to college for the class of 2025. Let's take a quick look at today's agenda, including creating a balanced list of safety, target, and reach schools, the common application process here at Fort Collins High School, the common application logistics and specifics, and components of an application, along with the financial aid timelines and factors, exploring college visits, the Ascent and TREP programs, as well as other items and questions and answers. As we continue through quarters 1 and quarter 2 at Fort Collins High School, let's take a quick look at what it means to create a healthy college list. By definition, a safety school is any school that has an 80% chance or greater of admissions for students that apply. A target school is any school that hits the mid 50% range of a student's GPA, along with things like extracurricular activities and an optional SAT score. A reach school, by definition, is any school that has a 30% chance or less of admissions for all incoming freshmen. For instance, a healthy college list should be a balance of anywhere from 3 to 7 schools, not 37, of a mix of safety, target, and reach schools. There are platforms, including Big Futures and Zello, that students may access to line up and compare schools. Finally, remember that you're searching for your academic, social, and financial fit for you. This year with college admissions and financial aid, we've been reminding students is a marathon and not a sprint, as financial aid and the FAFSA will not even open up until December 1st. So continue to explore your own fit through programs like Big Futures and Zello. Common terminology for the senior process includes application methods, as well as decision deadlines and admissions processes. The Common Application, accepted by over 1,100 different colleges and universities, both across the US and abroad, is the most popular means of applying to schools. The Coalition Application is accepted by about 177 different universities. It's more popular with students applying to majors such as the arts and music, as there is an available option for video and audio uploading. The UC application, or the University of California application, is used for 10 different state campuses across the state of California. For instance, if a student is interested in applying to schools such as UCLA or UC San Diego, they would implement the UC application. Regular decision deadlines are the most popular deadlines that are met once students are applying to schools. These include deadlines that span from November 1st to November 15th, all the way up to around January 1st. The regular decision deadline is used by about 85% of students applying for freshman year admissions. Early application deadlines in opposition are moved up to spans from October 15th to November 15th. Early action deadline simply means that the earlier you apply to a school, the earlier you find out if you are admitted. Early decision in opposition is a binding agreement. If a student applies to a school under early decision and is accepted to that school, they must attend that college or university. Rolling admissions, used by many schools such as Colorado State University, means that if a student applies, they find out a decision within 2 to 3 weeks. For instance, we do have some students that have applied to Colorado State University and already been accepted. Deferred admissions and waitlisting simply means that you've applied to a school but haven't been accepted and haven't been denied. Your application is usually rolled back to the next admissions deadline. And please keep in mind that the most important factor in your application is your overall GPA. The college application preparation process at Fort Collins High School begins with an hour-long senior meeting with your designated counselor. Let's walk through some of those steps. Step number 1 would be booking an appointment with your assigned counselors. Our counselor caseloads are broken down by alphabet. For instance, Nicole Kostra would have last names S and U through Z, while Miss Morris would have last names MC through R. Please make sure to schedule a 60-minute appointment with your counselor during first or second quarter. During this time together, you'll discuss post-secondary planning options such as college, the military, or even the workforce, individual timelines for your application, and tasks to be completed. You can schedule directly through your counselor or with Ms. Jones in Student Services. One of the supplementary materials of your Common Application, Coalition Application, or UC application begins with ordering official transcripts. An official transcript request form can be found on the wall in Student Services or by visiting our website. Please complete the form with student and parent guardian signatures. This allows us permission to send your transcript to colleges and universities. List all colleges on the back of the form, and if you're applying through the Common Application, only list one school. A $3 fee can be paid to the bookkeeper downstairs by the front office or online through School Pay. Then return the completed form and the receipt to Ms. Shannon Dunlap in Student Services. Another important supplementary material for your application includes a letter or letters of recommendation. Please check the requirements for each college. This includes the number required and if it's needed by a subject area of teacher. For instance, most colleges are those that accept letters of recommendation, only require 1. 2 is the most that you will need for the college application process. We also advise to look if you need a teacher or a counselor letter of recommendation. Look for a junior or a senior level teacher that you've had and you've done well with in their class. Please be advised that you can ask a freshman or a sophomore level teacher, although that's describing you as a 13 or 14-year-old student. The overall intent of a letter of recommendation is to acknowledge that you're ready and prepared for the college campus. Give at least 2 weeks for a teacher or a counselor to write a letter of recommendation, and complete the academic profile, which can be found both online and available in the Student Services Department. You can also invite your recommenders through the Common Application by clicking on the My Colleges tab and scrolling down to Recommenders and FERPA. This will add them to the Common Application. The process of completing the Common Application begins by creating a student account. In the upper right-hand corner of commonapp.org, you'll notice Create an Account. Once a student email and password are entered and saved, students have the opportunity to begin adding colleges. Under the College Search tab on top, you have the opportunity to add between 1 and 20 colleges. Please keep in mind that additional requirements might be needed for each school. For instance, while there are no additional questions or requirements for applying to Colorado State University, if a student is interested in applying to the University of Colorado at Boulder, you'll notice additional questions on the side. You can also submit on different dates with different applications. They don't have to be submitted at the same time or the same date. On the right-hand side, you'll see a screenshot of the front page of the Common Application. Tabs include Dashboard, My Colleges, Common Application, College Search, as well as Financial Aid. This student, for example, Nicole, has already added 3 schools, including Colorado State, Colorado Boulder, as well as UNC. The Common Application also lists requirements needed for each college. As stated previously, students have the opportunity to apply from 1 to 20 separate schools. The screenshot on your right shows different requirements needed for each college that this student is applying to. For instance, for Colorado State University, testing is never required, and there's no SAT or ACT score used. It also shows which recommendations are needed and whether those forms or recommendations are saved. For the purposes of the Education section, you'll notice the Common App tab, which is clicked on the top, and the common application section, such as profile, family, education, all the way down to courses and grades. For Fort Collins High School purposes, our senior class is currently 426 students. For the rank, we'll be using the exact rank or the weighted. This is found under Student View and then Course History. You'll notice we also use the 4.0 GPA scale for reporting purposes, and we're using the cumulative GPA or the weighted GPA. It's also reported on the Common App as weighted. The counselor's contact information can be found in the Student Services website for more information on the most up-to-date statistics of our senior class. Keep in mind to do the best that you can when filling out the education section, knowing that admissions officers will have your transcript for reference as well. One of the most common questions that we get as counselors is, how do I hand in a letter of recommendation, and how do I add my counselor to the Common Application account? Under My Colleges, you'll notice the column on the left-hand side with different universities that this student has applied to, including Colorado State, Pace University, all the way down to Penn. Under each tab, you'll notice Applications and then Recommenders and FERPA. Once the questions above it are completed, students have the opportunity to invite recommenders. Please only invite one teacher and one counselor. So you must invite your school counselor on file to complete the school report and the counselor recommendation. Reporting of test scores, including the SAT and ACT, have simply looked different since the onset of COVID. Most schools are test optional or test blind. There are very few schools throughout the United States that require testing. Test optional simply means that a student has the opportunity to hand in a test score, but they do not have to, and it's not required for admissions purposes. Test blind means that a college or university will simply not look at your test scores when determining admissions purposes. Official test scores, since they're not on the Fort Collins High School transcript anymore, must be ordered directly through your College Board student account. There's also options online, such as test optional details for Colorado colleges or those that are test optional or test blind. And fairtest.com provides a list of test optional colleges throughout the United States. Your personal essay is a pivotal portion of your college application. We always advise to first look at the 7 different options or prompts for the essay in the Common Application for 24-25. You'll notice the first 6 prompts have options such as background, identity, and interest, all the way down to discussing an accomplishment. Please notice that the last prompt essentially says, or share an essay on the topic of your choice. So essentially, write about what you want to write about. The personal essay is required by many colleges and universities, and it's found under the writing section on the Common Application. The same essay will be submitted to each college that you apply to through the Common Application. The 650-word limit is down from last year's 750-word limit. And sometimes trouble is found in this when students are used to writing to the minimum instead of to the maximum number of words. Your writing supplement, which is required by some colleges, is found under the My Colleges tab, Questions, and then Writing. So as stated earlier, if schools such as the University of Colorado require additional supplemental questions, that'll be found under the Writing tab. Please make sure to proofread and grammar check and repeat with a second set of eyes for each essay that you submit. Seniors have the option of reporting extracurricular activities in their Common Application under Common App Activities. Remember that colleges and universities are looking for quality over quantity. They are not impressed with a student that is signed up for multiple different clubs and opportunities senior year versus the student that has done 2 or 3 activities and then done really well for an extended period of time. You should highlight your interests and your leadership opportunities, and you can list up to 10 of those activities. Examples might include clubs that you're in at Fort Collins High School, family responsibilities, or even volunteer work that you've done. A little known secret on the Common Application is a tab all the way at the bottom that says Additional Information. If you run out of room for submitting activities, please know that you can use this section to share more details on activities that you perform during your time in high school. Financial aid opportunities begin with the FAFSA application, also known as the Free Application for Federal Student Aid. While in years past the application has been open to students, parents, and guardians by October 1st, this year it is slated to open on December 1st. Also available will be the Colorado Application for State Financial Aid, or the CASFA, for all non-US citizens and non-residents. Students will complete one of these financial aid applications for next year's college-going experience. The College Opportunity Fund is available to all in-state residents. For instance, if you look up in the right-hand corner, you'll notice the front page of the College Opportunity Fund. Once a student and their family applies, the student is allotted $116 per public school credit or $58 per private college credit. The CSS profile is also required by some colleges. For instance, in the state of Colorado, it's required by both Colorado College as well as the University of Denver. And finally, the Witchy Wooey Experience, or the Western Undergraduate Exchange, is a regional tuition agreement that's offered for select states. It awards 150% of the resident-based tuition. For instance, some students, instead of paying out-of-state tuition, will simply pay 150% of the tuition of that of a Colorado resident. Please check with your counselor for further details. Touching upon the FAFSA timeline, our honest response is it can't get any worse than it was last academic year. Last year was the first time that the FAFSA timeline was pushed back from October 1st to right around December 1st. Current statistics will show that the completion rate through August of this academic year is 51% nationally and 42.4% in Colorado. Your federal student aid ID account worksheet and guide can be found at the QR code on this slide. Another handy tool for submitting the FAFSA or preparing to submit the FAFSA includes the 2526 prototype, which is now available. This allows students, parents, and guardians to navigate specific scenarios that may arise on the FAFSA application. And please know that the enter access code is prototype 2526. Additional financial aid tools begin with the financial aid calculator, or the net price calculator, for each individual college and university. For instance, on the right-hand side of this slide, you'll notice the Colorado State University site for their net price calculator if you'll be a full-time first-year student at Colorado State. There's also institutional scholarships such as merit aid for each school. Merit aid usually begins with a student's cumulative GPA. Our local scholarships will be updated on Zello, and they're also available on our Student Services website. The PSD scholarship packet will be available right around December of 2024, and that's a really good way for students to apply to 45 to 55 different scholarships by means of one complimentary application. National scholarships can be found on the wall or the resources slide in Student Services, and award letters are announced in the spring for each student. Students throughout the state of Colorado, including Poudre School District, have two great opportunities through district programming. The Ascent program, or Accelerating Students Through Concurrent Enrollment, is essentially a fifth-year high school program. This is a full year of free classes at either Front Range Community College, Ames, or the University of Northern Colorado. To qualify, you must have at least 9 post-secondary credit hours. These are accumulated through Front Range concurrent enrollment classes as well as select AP classes. The application for the Ascent program is available in late fall for current seniors. Also, we have the TREP, or the Teacher Recruitment, Education, and Preparation Program. This is a 5th and 6th year of high school program for future educators throughout the state of Colorado. It's a full year of classes that are paid for, once again, at Front Range, Ames, or UNC. And it's successful completion of one college course from the education pathway during a student's senior year. So, what does the senior year timeline look like for each student? Keep in mind that each student's path and timeline will be different. In the months of September and October, we encourage you to continue researching colleges. This includes reps that come to Fort Collins High School, along with in-state and out-of-state college fairs, campus tours both in the state and out of state, and by doing independent research online. The in-state college fair will be September 23rd, while the out-of-state college fair will be September 24th. The Colorado Free Application Day is open to all Colorado residents and those qualifying to graduate at the end of this academic year. That will take place between October 15th to the 17th. Select schools such as Colorado State University and Western are free throughout the academic year, but schools such as CU Boulder, DU, etc. will be free on those 3 days. Also, if you're applying early decision or early action, request documents that you need at least 2 weeks before the first deadline. In the second quarter of this academic year, or mid-October on, into November and December, we encourage you to submit early applications. This includes early action and early decision. Also, continue to challenge yourself academically, knowing that schools will look at quarter 3 and quarter 4 grades. In December, you can complete your applications for regular decision. FAFSA application will open up December 1st. We can take a stroll through the scholarship application and the PSD scholarship application, and decision letters for early applicants will be submitted. Other items include Front Range credit. You must remember to request your official transcript from Front Range be sent directly to four-year colleges, and you can do this through your Front Range eWolf account. Also, AP scores must be submitted directly from your College Board account online. May 1st is the National Deposit Day, or the day that you must let a college know that you will either be attending or not attending their university, and your counselor is always here to help. And finally, as suggested earlier, please know that senior year still counts. Colleges do consider your fall grades along with your spring grades. So remember to keep your schedule competitive and make sure that what you're reporting on your fall schedule is what your final transcript says. Many colleges will in fact ask for final grades. So senior year coursework serves as a foundation for college preparation and not as a time to simply take it easy. Also remember to stay current in both English and math curriculum throughout your quarter 3 and quarter 4 in preparation for the rigors of college.